Hey, this is Dan here from Rune Silk, and I'm joined by one other, and that's none other than Damo for show. And this is the BeardMail podcast. So sit back, listen, and enjoy.
It's episode 6, Dan. Episode 6.
So we did it. We actually made it to the end of season 1. It's not actually the end of season 1, is it? It's just the end of the first 6 that we said that we would do.
That's right. And we are talking about today. We're talking about beard competitions, mate. Beard competitions. So, how do you want to kick it off, mate? That's our theme. But as always, it's just going to be a loose, casual chat. I tell a little story, you tell a little story. We have a laugh, we entertain people. But this one might be a little bit more educational because we are going to tell you about some dates that are coming up. So, I mean, let's start with the concept of beard competitions, Dan. What's the first one you ever went to?
My first ever competition was Braw in 2020 up in Glasgow, Drygate Brewery, the Braw Beard competition with liver beards.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was really fun. Me and the missus went. We took the long drive to Glasgow, stayed overnight, got really drunk, met loads of cool people. May or may not have placed in the competition, but
you can shout about it, Dan.
There's a funny story.
What did you get?
Well, there's a funny story. I'll tell. Well, just natural over 4 inches.
We're talking about beards.
Second.
You second, mate. Well done.
Second place. I came second to a guy in a kilt whose beard was questionably. Might have been better than mine, but I think it was just because I was a Cambridge boy on their turf and they gave it first place to a guy in a kilt. May or may not have that twisted, but you can see why I might have got that idea. It was actually really funny. I don't know if we're telling stories yet, but
yeah, go for it.
Well, I almost missed. I drove all the way to Glasgow for this competition, and I almost missed my heat because I was so drunk, and I was out talking to various people. But one of them was Luke from what's his surname? Lazenby. Luke Lazenby. Talking to Luke Lazenby for absolutely hours, and Joe DeBill came out.
Big Joe.
He said, Dan, you've just missed your heat, and I was like, oh, what? I thought, really? Oh, that's a shame. I ran anyway. I ran in. I was like, oh, it was not going to start without me, you bastards. And I literally got to the back of the queue as I was just about to step on stage. It was like that, like, whoo! And then came second place. So I was quite pleased. But it was just really good fun. Got to meet, Wayne Alexander and Big Judd from Home of the Beardos, and met loads of people that I'd obviously seen online and never met before. And it was just really good fun. And it was at a brewery, and I drank loads, and I may or may not have snuck some Rune Silk samples in.
Nice. An undercover Rune Silk. It's good. It's a good place to start actually with Braw Beards, because that tends to be the first competition on the beardy calendar. So for those of you that don't know, beard competitions are a thing up and down the country and across the world. And I mean, they've been going for, I think some of the first ones, certainly the first British was way back. I think it might be like 2013. I should have done a bit of research really, but I know like the old guard, like your Matt Walls and your Stu from Fine Fettle and that, they were been involved in beard competitions, and the Wessex lads and that from very early on. I think it was Bristol or Bath or somewhere. But I obviously came into this from 2016, which was the British Championships in Liverpool. So the British Championships, although it's called the British Championships, still anybody from anywhere can enter. So you do get people come from around the world, but it's technically the British Championships is every 2 years. Obviously, it's gone a little bit wonky with COVID, but every 2 years. And then the World Championships are every 2 years as well, but they alternate. So each year there is a massive competition. So you're either going to be at the British or the Worlds. That's the biggest competition on the scene. But generally, they're quite respectful. The guys that run the competitions tend to respect each other's sort of timings and that, so they're not too clashy. You'll never sort of get to a place where you've got 2 competitions in the same weekend. There's a little bit of an unwritten rule, really, where if you're going to set up a new competition, you sort of try and fit it in where there isn't another one. But yeah, Broadbeards hasn't been going for that long, actually. I think they've done four now, and that is the first.
Just quickly, Damo.
Yeah,
the first event date on record for the World Beard and Mustache Championships was 1990.
What about British? Have you got the British one? Because I know the British was only 2014, I think.
That was the World, and 2012 maybe.
2012. That's
right. Me. Just that. I can't find the exact, but because it keeps popping up with the latest one coming up in August.
So I mean, but they've only been the British. Like, it's only been going for 10 years. But I mean, phenomenally around the world, people have had beards for a long time. But I mean, for people that don't know, it tends to just be guys getting together, and ladies as well. There's creative categories for the ladies and for the kids as well. Some are kid friendly, some are adults only. So like Broadbeard I like Broadbeard because actually it's in a brewery, so you have to be over 18, and it's up a set of steps. But so they can be family affairs, but then they can also just be like drinking. What's funny, Dan?
Just the fact that it's up a set of steps, and that makes it cool.
No, not that made it cool. It's just like if you've had a few too many scoops, it's hard work getting down them.
It's waiting on those steps to get in was fun, especially when it's slightly raining and everyone's there like shielding their beards, like, oh god, man, I've got it's raining, and then trying to get in and that sort of stuff. It was really good fun.
So Broadbeard's first one on the calendar, and then you can normally get about eight a year, and I think the first one ever when I went to was the Wessex competition, and I didn't enter because I was too scared, I was too nervous. And now everybody says the same thing. Oh yeah, I'd like to go, but I'm a bit nervous, I don't want to go on stage. You absolutely should just get involved and get on stage if you go to a competition. There's no reason to be nervous. It's just a nice group of guys having a few beers, raising some money for charity. Usually there's a stage and a compere and a mic, but you literally do your little bit. Like, it's like being on blind date. What's your name? Where'd you come from? And you do your little bit. You get judged by a few, but it's all a good laugh, and it's all in good spirit. And they are definitely good events to attend. And what is nice, and you mentioned it already actually, is that you get to meet a lot of the people from the beard community that you know through Facebook groups or through interacting online, and you get to see them in real life. And often they're a lot different in real life. I've seen some people like, bloody hell, you're a lot taller than I thought. And then I was like, bloody hell, you're a lot shorter than I thought.
It's crazy, isn't it? You kind of paint a picture of what they're going to be like in real life. And then, I know people always said that, Wayne Alexander's a big old guy, but you don't realize how big he is until you stand next to him.
Well, when I just mentioned the really tall one and the really short one, I was talking about Wayne and Craig.
Yeah.
Big shout out to those.
Yeah, because I always thought that Craig would be a bit bigger, because and he looks quite menacing, doesn't he? Because he's got the scar on his cheek and he looks a little bit menacing, and then you meet him in person, you're like, oh, he's small. Then I thought, I do love Craig.
There are some big characters, and there are some decent prizes to be had as well. But it is mostly about a bit of fun. So yeah, Broadbeard is a place that I've done a couple of Broadbeards. I had a third at Brawl. But what my most interesting story for Brawl was, it was the first time I'd met John Jackson, and I'd messaged him beforehand about the Damo pose. Obviously, we've talked about the Damo pose on previous episodes, but I wanted to get everybody in the room doing it. So I cleared it with John. I said, look, can I get on the mic and tell people about the Damo pose and do it and get a picture? And I was really, really nervous because this was a long time ago. This was before I'd have been comfortable picking up a mic. And I literally, we're thinking about, you running up to the stage when you went and being a little bit last. I was in that queue for ages waiting to get on stage, and I was shitting myself. I was nervous, the adrenaline was pumping, and I was like, this is it. I'm like, what if everybody doesn't do it, and how's it going to go down, and I was really, really nervous. I got on there, did it. I got a brilliant picture of it, of everyone doing the Damo pose, and that was it. It was cemented. And John Jackson's actually a really, really nice guy, and that's a good old event. Broadbeard. So yeah, I know obviously with COVID things have been put off a little bit, but hopefully back together. And while we're talking about Broad, we might as well mention because we've got some dates to talk about.
Yeah, they're back on. They're back on for 2023, aren't they? I know that's next year, but they've announced their 2023 date.
18th of February 2023. Tickets are on sale for the Broadbeard comp. So if you are super keen, you can get your tickets way in advance. But yeah, so that's the first one on the calendar. Usually, you get a couple of, while we're talking about beard competitions, we have like the standard ones that people go to and new ones, but there are also cheeky little ones at other things as well. So for example, I've always wanted to go to the Jorvik festival, which is
a few lads went before. It's
but it always usually clashes with Broadbeard, but they do have a little beard competition. It's just not the main focus. Obviously at Broadbeard the main focus is the competition, but at Jorvik they do have a little beard competition, but it's mostly just people that are having a Viking day out, and it's a little bit of an extra thing. So there are some other little ones scattered about.
They have a Great Hall feast as well, don't they? They have like a massive feast. You can.
There's loads of them sort of things. We'll do another podcast about that because there's a Valhalla one down south. There's a lot of them about. I'd love to do it, but yeah. So there is a cheeky little beard competition at that. But yeah. So that's the Jorvik festivals. That's the start of the calendar, and then obviously when the summer comes along, it's much better to do it out in the summer because you can go and have beers and a bit of sunshine. And there we go. So that was your first competition. My first competition was Wessex. I didn't compete. I think the first time I competed might have been Brawl. I did quite a few. I did liver beards. I've done a lot. Actually, I want to just have a little shout out. For those of you that are listening on the podcast, you won't see this, but this is my Damo Pose flag that I have, and I pop that on a table. So whenever I go to a beard competition now, that's my table, so I can remember when I'm drunk where to go back and sit down, because otherwise I would lose my place. Because like you say, Dan, there is usually a little bit of drinking. You don't have to. There's plenty of people that go along and don't drink, and there's plenty of people that go along and drink way too much. I'm pointing at me. For the listeners on the podcast, pointing at me. But this year, there's a lot, and there's a new competition coming up as well. So what should we talk about, Dan? Past experiences, or should we talk about new ones coming up? What should we talk about?
Oh, I don't know. Actually, it's kind of. I mean, we can always look at the calendar a bit later on. I mean, it might be quite nice to just shout out about. I'm sure Jamie would be really pleased for us to shout out about his latest one, because I think that's the next big one, because it's quite early in the year, isn't it? Being May.
Yeah, so May the 21st is Jamie Cox from Opie's is holding his first Opie's beard and moustache competition, and that's going to be at the Loddon Brewery in Reading. So it's actually nice that's not a bad location as well, because some of them tend to be really far down south. You've got the Wessex, Southwest, the Plymouth and Cornwall, and then you've got Glasgow, which is way up. And so it's nice actually. There's a little bit more in the middle. There's also the Whiskers West Midlands have put on some in the past, Birmingham way, which have been nice. I think that might have been my actual second competition, I think, and picked up a little trophy there. But yeah, so Reading Opie's, but it's at an actual like beer festival. So I mean, you can't go wrong. There's going to be street food, there's going to be beers, and then
I think it'll be really good fun. I've got my ticket. Have you got your ticket? Are you competing?
I haven't yet, because I'm hoping that Jamie's going to say, do you want to come and be a judge? But I haven't heard nothing yet. So I'm thinking the longer I don't buy a ticket, the more he's going to think, oh, hang on, Damo ain't bought a ticket yet. I better invite him to be a judge. So no, I haven't got it yet, but I need to have a look at it. I need to get the accommodation sorted, because sometimes they do the good places to stay do get snapped up quick, and actually it tends to be you get a lot of beardos all stay in the same place, and then you have beers afterwards, or you meet up and have a breakfast in the morning or what have you. So yeah, I do need to get something firmed up, but I absolutely will be going. I just need to firm up my ticket and that. So yeah, that will be good, and it'll be nice because it's new and it's different and it's in a new area. And I think it's far enough south to encourage some of the southerners to come up, and it'll be nice. It'll be nice to see some new folk. So that's
I think it'd be quite nice, because I know he's being quite flexible, because I can't actually remember what category I booked in, and I even said to James, like, I'd have no idea what size my beard will be in May. It might be shorter, it might be longer, I might trim it, I might let it grow. And he's already kind of said, well, look, people can get their ticket, come on the day, we'll measure your beard, and we'll put you in whatever category you kind of fit in, which I think is quite nice, and I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, it'll be my first comp of the year.
What tends to happen is obviously you have a bit of a measure when you turn up on the day, and if you are a little bit longer or a little bit short, they might change your category a little bit. But that said, it's easier for the organisers if you do get the right ticket and turn up on the right thing on the right day. But it also depends, because Jamie's been quite flexible, and I know he's even, he would put on a different category. I think he's having ginger beards, which I'd only seen at Broadbeard before. But I think if you said to him, Jamie, can you do a category for over 6'5" gentlemen with ginger beards that are wearing shorts, he'd probably put a category on for you like that. But it really does depend. I mean, the British Championships and the World Championships, they have to stick to more of a rigid schedule. There's like 23, 24 categories. So obviously, if you're in that, you have to be very particular and make sure you're getting the right one. But that said, if you turn up to a competition and you're entering the natural category, and then you turn up and you've got a massive styled moustache, it's a case of, well, they don't want you to just get disqualified, so they would just change your category and say, well, actually you should be in this category. If you turn up to join the under 10 inches and you've got a 12-inch beard, they're like, you can't go and join that category. So they would move you around and be a little bit flexible. So yeah, but it's good. I mean, and beard competitions, I've been to some where they've got 4 categories, and I've been to others where they've had 25 categories. So it really does depend. Do a little bit of research and have a little look on the website. But yeah, you don't know how big you're going to be. But I would always recommend have a little trim a day or two before the competition. Measure yourself up, and it's better to have the biggest beard in your category. It's like fighting, like boxing. You want to weigh in and come back as the biggest fella in your weight category. You want to have the biggest beard. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a better chance, but I mean, if you're in an under 8-inch beard category and you've only got 2 inches of beard, you've got to do something magical to stand out. But that can be done as well. You mentioned
absolutely, absolutely. I think with Braw, I think I flipped some stickers across the table at the guys, because I'd never been to a competition in my life.
That's a Matt Wall move.
They go, what do you do? Like, you just kind of go up on stage and people just kind of look at your beard, and you just kind of stand there and do like little poses and that, and get your beard in different angles for them to check it out. And I did have a fresh trim, and it was looking really nice and like kind of squared and cut, but it had a good bit of length at the front. And I'm sort of doing this, and I'm like, flick some stickers, and the guy was like, is that a bribe? I was like, no, it's just a gift.
A gift of bribery. That's a Matt Wall move.
Bribery.
That's what Matt Wall always does. He's always giving out some stickers when he's competing. That's a tried and trusted Matt Wall technique. That is.
You wait till the TBBMC. I've got a cracker, absolute cracker.
So the British Championships this year, Seamless Link, is on the 27th of August. If anyone's listening to this back, like, the year is presently 2022. The British,
don't start looking at your calendar. If you listen to this in 2025, you missed it.
It should have been in 2020, but because of COVID, it got put back, and then it got put back again. So fingers crossed it's going to happen this year, 2022, in the town of Rugby, which is my old hometown. I used to live there for a long time. Ran by iBeard Club and the Whiskas West Midlands, and it's at the Temple Speech Rooms. Temple Speech Rooms. Yeah, it's like a big sort of auditorium, sort of sitting in rows sort of fashion, with a massive grandioso stage and beardy chaps on the wall. But yeah, so that's going to be one where there's obviously 25 odd categories. I think
we're sponsoring 2 of them.
Nice. What are you sponsoring, Dan? Let's have a plug for Rune Silk.
I think it was a long time ago since we signed up, because obviously it was pre-2020 or when we were looking at it. I think it's 12-inch or over 12-inch natural and partial.
So what? And again, we're educating.
Chops.
Partial chops. Just chops.
Just chops.
Yeah,
I can't remember now. There's 2. There's 2.
What tends to happen at a beard comp is you have all them categories. You will have a first place, second place, and third place, and each of them will get a goodie bag or a prize from usually the sponsor of that category. So if you're in the category that Rune Silk are sponsoring, you're most likely to get some Rune Silk swag. Is that right? You donate some prizes?
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know what the prizes will be, but it'll probably be third place will get a product, second prize will get 2 products, and first place will get a full gift set of some variety, like a full stack with a balm of butter and oil in a comb or something like that. So yeah, it'll be pretty good. Good nice prize. Good prize, I think.
more importantly there, Dan, the trophies. What I like about the beard community and beard competitions is the trophies vary massively. I've had some really rubbish
Is that the
trophies.
Oxford? Is that the Oxford? One of the
And
Oxford
I've had
ones?
some really good ones. They're all awesome, right? Because it's just the fact that you were there and you made it into the top 3. But this is one from the Oxfordshire Beard Festival, and these were handcrafted. This is real life wood from Russell Bristow for show, who's a double he's a world champion, Dali champion, and he's actually a tree surgeon. So he's actually cut these bits of wood as the base, and then they've actually got wrestling figures and glued them to the base. And these were the trophies. So yeah, I mean, sometimes you're getting, big. I've had big plastic frames. I've had wooden stuff. I've had them little.
Braw tend to do wooden. Braw tend to do the wooden ones, don't they?
Them little pop figures. I've had one of them on some have big shields. The Beard On have some amazing disc things, and I think actually I don't know. The plans for the British, they were going to have some really good trophies. So yeah, it's always interesting to see what they come up with. If you look at some of the American competitions, I've seen some outrageous trophies, like huge, massive, like exhaust pipes and stuff, like carved into like phenomenal. The trophies are a big deal. Trophies, prizes, beers, fun, charity. That's what beard competitions are all about.
It's just all around good, isn't it? I mean, good fun. I mean, I think we went to Beard On. And that was where we first met. Actually, was Beard On, wasn't it? We had a stand at Beard On. I think Mick Wallage has confirmed that we've got a stand this year's one. I know we're jumping ahead to October, but we've got a stand at that one as well. So we're doing quite a lot of showcasing at Beard Comps this year, which hopefully should be pretty cool because obviously we sell beard care products.
Yeah. So, and again, there actually we probably failed to mention this, but usually at a beard competition there will be a couple of vendors. So you will have a Rune Silk or an Opie's or whoever it may be that have like a stand. So that's a great way to meet the owners. It's a great way for you to get your brands out there and your products out there. But also it's a great way to support the UK independents because they're supporting the charity by being there. They're usually paying a few quid to be there, which helps the charity, which is nice. But then it's, as I say, it's a great way to meet people and try out some new stuff that you might not have seen or heard. I mean, we did, like I say, we went Beard On last year, and the Bearded Viking were there, who I'd not heard of or not seen. So I managed to chat with Lewis at that gig there, and Beard Monsters were there as well. So yeah, you normally get 4 or 5, and it depends. I mean, when they did the British at Blackpool, I think they had like 18 vendors or something like that.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a really good way, and it's not always necessarily all with beard stuff as well. So that was where I first, in the Wessex, I met Bilf, who was Victoria Scarfield, and they do merchandise, not beard products, not beard butters and balms and oils and that, but actually like clothing and that. So I think there was actually a couple of cider vendors down there, some mead vendors as well. So yeah, it's not always beard stuff, but yeah, it's a good day to meet them. Obviously, we skipped forward a little bit for October there, but going backwards, we did mention the Oxfordshire. So they've announced their competition for this year, which is great. I personally think it's one of the best on the scene because they're always a little bit quirky. They have a decent theme, and they usually have some extracurricular prizes. So the Oxfordshire Beard Festival, it's on the 10th of September, and it's going to be
put that one in actually because
they
only recently announced it, didn't they?
Yeah, it's at an ISIS hotel on the river. So, but to give you an example, the last one was a wrestling theme, and they actually had prizes. We played tag team wrestling. So me and Smithy went as a tag team. We both dressed up as Vikings. We paddled there on a canoe, and we did the twister, and we actually won that, which was another couple of trophies. They had thumb wars, which I think Santa Blake smashed that one. He's an epic at thumb wars, and they had an arm wrestling competition as well. So it wasn't even just about the beards and the best beards. It was also a little bit extracurricular. So looking forward to that one. Yeah, that's the 10th of September.
That sounds really good. Yeah, I must try and book in on that one. I'll try and that'll be good.
And again, that's Oxford, so it's still south, but not as south as Devon and Cornwall and the like. And then back up to the Central Beardsman, so Mick Wallage and his crew at Mansfield, at where we met last year. So Beard On, that is going to be the 1st of October this year. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 already in the diary. And last year we managed to squeeze 2 in. Actually, we'll give a little shout out to the Plymouth and Cornwall. So Mike and Claire organised a little one, which was pretty brave, really, with COVID going on.
Oh yeah, because that was just as we were sort of leaving all lockdowns and stuff, wasn't it? So I think it was one of those ones that sort of like last minute kind of, we're going to do it. Can we do it? We did it. I can't remember where I was for that one, because I would have loved to have come down for that one. But I know I was somewhere miles away, and it was going to be too far for me to go to Cork. Because you went and didn't with Paddy as well.
Yeah, I went with Paddy and Smithy, and DBFC'd it up, and we had a cracking time, actually.
Because I think I was working or doing something, and I couldn't drive down to Plymouth and then back to Cambridgeshire, and then I was off somewhere to do something, and I was like, I can't do it. I've got work the next day or something like that.
So I mean, obviously, the Central Beersman, that being in near Junction 28 at the M1, that's a bit further up north. And actually, Mick has promised us that it's going to be bigger and better than the last one. So I'm really looking forward to that, because they do put on a good show. It's a big old venue, and they usually have some decent music and that. So yeah, I mean, that's 4 for the calendar. I mean, and then there's massive news. That the Wessex are going to be holding the World Championships, which is scheduled. Ooh. It's scheduled now for 2025. So when we were in Antwerp, so the last World Championships were in 2019 in Antwerp, and that was the one. Obviously, I got dressed.
And how did you get there, Damo?
I got dressed up as Forrest Gump, and I ran there all by myself. 300 miles over 13 days. Me and my rucksack and my Forrest Gump outfit and my blisters on my feet. Got there in emphatic fashion. But at that competition, they actually they sort of have a vote, and they have a process where you bid to win, hosting the next one and the one after that. So I think things are changing because of COVID. I don't know what's happening, but technically, and as I said, the years have gone all wonky, but technically New Zealand is going to be the next World Championships. And that was...
How you getting there?
Well, I was thinking I'm going to have to row that one because it's water. So as it stands, unless you're in the know, New Zealand is supposed to be the next World Championships, and then Bristol, Wessex holding it in Bristol, the one after that. But it's massive. It's absolutely massive news that a World Championships is going to be held in England, in the UK, because the last one obviously was Antwerp. Before that was Austin, Texas, and I think the other one was like, I want to say Hungary or somewhere. I don't even know. But yeah, so the fact that the World Championship is coming to England is brilliant. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Huge. It should be. That'd be really good. Should be 2025. So plenty of time to grow a beard. If you've never been to a beard competition, start practicing now. You've got 3 years until the World Championships.
So that's what. So what months are free for us if we wanted to do our own BeardMail beard competition? We'll hit March, April, November.
Well, do you know what? It varies because I know I spoke to like the Wessex. They're not doing one this year. They got hit bad by COVID, and they got hit massively on a lot of PayPal fees and stuff from organising stuff that went. They had to give money back and that. So usually on the calendar, you would have the Wessex competition, and also you'd have the Southwest competition as well. So they're not doing it this year. So who knows what might happen next year? And I actually said this out loud in DBSE today. Actually, I think the UK is crying out for a Welsh one. There are so many new beard brands that have set up in Wales through furlough that I absolutely think they should set one up. Somebody somewhere should set one up in Wales. So. Unless we do a BeardMail one in Wales, but no, I think leave the Welsh to the Welsh boys. It would be nice if they did one.
We don't really, as far as I'm aware, there isn't really one in East Anglia, but and also, I mean, East Anglia and this way, I think that's home to the biggest bearded villains group as well in East Anglia and that sort of area. So it'd be interesting. Maybe have a word. We do ponder. I mean, it's a lot of work that goes into organising these sorts of things. I'm not going to be like, it's a piece of cake. We'll pop it up in no time tomorrow. It's a lot of work that goes into building them, promoting them, running them. I remember, see the guys at Beard On. They're putting so much effort into those events, and you see them at the end of the day, and obviously they're knackered, and but of course, there's been a lot of planning, and I think I think it's got to be quite nice for the organisers when the event's done and everyone's gone, and you go,
yeah.
Oh, that was good. That worked. That was good. And then sort of you get that kind of that calm down phase of where you're kind of tired and broken and just get pissed and that sort of stuff. But I will always remember Beard On. Do you know what I will always remember about Beard On, Damo, for show?
No.
Pumpkin soup.
Oh yes, got a little bit of pumpkin soup. We
That
had
was so funny.
Was it pumpkin soup or was it curry sauce?
It was curry sauce with it.
You could have said to me, "Oh, we should tell the story, really, shouldn't we?" Because people are going, "What are they talking about?"
It was funny, yeah. I mean, well, the funniest thing was I was stone cold sober because I was driving everywhere, and obviously we met you guys at the pub, and everyone was hammered at that point. And Stephen Morris and his missus were battered, and you were 5 soups deep. But I'll let you reverse and talk about it because obviously you got there and had the soup before I arrived.
Start from the beginning. So the Beard On competition was actually on Halloween. And it's at like an event center, so there's a bar there and there's a room, but there's usually, in fact, this is hot, it's not hot off the press, but there's usually a pre-party, right? So whenever there's a beard competition, tends to be on the Saturday. A lot of people will travel down the night before, so sometimes you have a bit of a pre-party on the Friday night. More so, like for the British, it's got an official actual pre-party where there's a couple of quid behind the bar if you do to get a free drink if you're a competitor. But usually there's a sort of a bit of an unspoken rule. You tend to have a pre-party the night before. So I'd been up to Beard On, and I'd found this little pub that was opposite the venue, because in the venue on the Friday night there was like kids running around. It was a Halloween kids party thing, and I'm like, no, I need to be in an old man's pub having a beer. So I went over, found this at the pub. A couple of other people come and met me, and they had a special pumpkin soup on, and it was weird, but it's up north, so they obviously do this up north. They were just giving out cups of pumpkin soup, and this was on the Friday night, right? And I don't know whether I hadn't eaten something or other, but I've had a few beers. Oh, I'll try one of them, and I tried it, and it was just absolutely beautiful. So in my brain then I'm just associating this pub with pumpkin soup, and it's free. As long as you're having beers, it was free. And then somehow I think it was the Saturday night then, wasn't it? We went back.
It was the Saturday night that we met you on that.
So after the event, I went back to that pub on the prowl for some more pumpkin soup, and there was a load of us sat round, and we were just banging on about pumpkin soup, and they kept bringing out pumpkin soup, and it was just bloody delicious, and everybody had a load of pumpkin soup, but I think it was curry sauce. I don't. It was just, it had a twang to it.
It got to the point though, wouldn't it? Wasn't it like they said? I think they said like you've had too much. You've had far too much pumpkin soup. So obviously, so me and my wife have arrived at the pub, and Damo's like, "Do you like pumpkin soup?" And I'm like, "I don't know, Damo. I'm like, I can't say I've ever really been a connoisseur of pumpkin soup." He's like, "Well, if you get a drink at the bar, you can get some free pumpkin soup. You could just give it to me. I don't want
it." We drank them dry of pumpkin soup. I imagine they had a massive vat of it for the Halloween weekend, and we drank them dry. They're
even saying like you've had it all. Like there is no more pumpkin soup to be had. Stop asking for pumpkin soup. But so that's the kind of listeners. That's the kind of fun you're going to have at a beard competition. It's not just about like obviously the taking part is fun. I think the Beard On one. I think I was in the under 8-inch category, which most people fell into. So unfortunately, I didn't come first in that one. It was all the grey beards. Grey beards were all the rage in that heat. Actually, I think everyone that won. John Connor, didn't he?
John
won.
Connor. Sean Winstanley won. John Connor had a good second or third, I think.
Yeah, and then
he should have got a bonus 10-star award for his outfit, which was
pumpkin
phenomenal.
Outfit. Yeah, that was cracking.
We probably should mention a bit of fancy dress actually. While we're talking beard competitions, some folk think it's appropriate to dress up. And interestingly, I had this epiphany when I was at the World Championships in Antwerp. I sort of took a back seat a little bit because I had a terrible hangover, and I just looked around the room and I was like, beard competitions are just an excuse for men over 40 to dress up, because there was a pirate, there was a musketeer, there was a Jesus, there was a Viking, there's just fancy dress everywhere, because people really take it seriously, certainly on the world stage and the beard stage. But then at Beard On, we also had a couple of fancy dressers. So I've been teaching some of my DBSC guys, how to stand out and do well at a competition. So there was a Norseman, and there was a chainsaw in Lewis monkey, and John Connor rocked up with an actual pumpkin on his head and an orange string vest. And this is the first time we'd met. So a lot of the guys had said to me, like, they're a bit nervous about competing. It's the first time they've been to a competition. I said, look, lads, absolutely go for it, go balls deep, get dressed up, come along, you'll have a great time. And they did. It was so nice to see brand new people competing, because like Sean Stanley, he wasn't even going to make it, actually, because he was dog sitting and he was driving, but he drove down. He ended up staying the whole time. And he had a whale of time, and he actually won it. And it was a beautiful new grey beard on the scene. But then the likes of Liam Sandy, brought his family down, and they were all in fancy dress. And it's just a really good, wholesome occasion. And then there was me in a Squid Games outfit. I just got terribly drunk and made a mess of myself. But, it is what it is. It is what it is. We had a whale of a time and got some good pictures.
Where did you place?
I was in the top four.
Fourth.
My category, yeah.
You came fourth, didn't you? That was a good shout.
Yeah, so it's not bad going. So our freestyle.
Yeah, I mean, I think I came like 6th or 7th or something like that. So you did well.
In my defence, right, the freestyle category is a big deal, right? So freestyle category is when you can literally do whatever you want to your beard, and hairspray is involved, and curlers and tongs and all sorts of wild stuff. And I fashioned mine into a squid. Now, in my defence, I had actually booked the freestyle champion of the world in my heart, Matt Wall. Matt Wall was supposed to be coming with me, staying with me, and helping me do my beard. And he got a ping on the COVID thing, so he couldn't come. So I rocked up to the competition with a terrible hangover and just tried to do my beard in the back room in a hurry with hairspray, and it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best. I'm not a freestylist. I can't do it. It takes skill and patience and a sober hand.
You see some incredible stuff, though, don't you? And I love. I think it was a Brawl. I think there were some guys coming over from Germany.
Yes,
and they had the full on, like the tweed jackets on, and even Lee BMG's done some crazy stuff. And they do all the big curls, and they've got all the magnificent. I was talking to one guy, Craig Sigerson, I believe his name was, guy from South Africa living in Scotland, and I think it took him 6 hours to get his beard ready. It was missus there with the hairspray and I think there was a mention of like Pritt stick and like all sorts of stuff. And he had like a massive, really long thing here, and he had a curl and a spike, and it was magnificent. And I don't think I'd have the patience. I went just with natural, and all I did was just blow dry my beard, just like, because you can't have anything in your beard. So I was just like, I'll just blow dry it and then just rock up and just don't move, and then hope that my beard looks like it's got product in it and looks really cool.
The real art of freestyling is being able to last till the end, because it always tends to be the last category. So it means you turn up at a beard competition with it all ready to go and it looking beautiful, and you've spent a couple of hours getting it ready in the morning. The competition might start
drooping,
2 o'clock or something, and you've got to keep it going. The World Championships was actually the longest day of my life. And the freestylers, it was 10 hours, 11 hours of competing until they were on the stage. So massive kudos to the people that can keep a firm styled tash for that long. But it's actually worth giving a little mention, because we're running out of time again, Dan. We don't have to chat some, don't we? But worth giving a mention to all the creative beards. And people might not know. So the ladies or folk that anybody can enter, really, the creative, but they tend to have 2 categories: a creative, realistic beard, where you're trying to make a beard look real. So people will use actual hair. The ladies are shaving their legs and sticking it onto a bit of cardboard to make the shape of a beard. Or they're fashioning their long hair, making it, across for a tash. Or there's a creative fake beard where they go all out. And I mean, a massive shout out to Alice Jelly, who's a double world champion from the Wessex, but she has come up with some crazy things. If you go and have a little Google of the Whiskerinas, they're a massive group of girls in America who go all out for creative fake beards, and I've seen brilliant things. I mean, on the UK scene, certainly Suze Higgins, who runs the Oxfordshire Beard Festival, she's always there, and she has some amazing. They just
crocheted and stuff. A lot of people crochet ones.
They get their craft game on, and it's really, really quite epic. Actually, a little shout out we're talking about beard on. So Wayne Coulter, one of the DBFCs. He brought his wife along, and she actually won her category. And it's like, it's a great place for brand new people, never even done it before, didn't even really know what's going on. They made a beard, and they've won a trophy in a little bag of swag. So yeah, it's a wholesome, good bit of a fun day out. And
there's also worth mentioning is I keep trying to organise this and get people to do it, and one year we are going to smash it. It's a festival in Derbyshire called Bearded Theory.
Yes,
and it's in May at Catton Hall, and I used to work there a few years ago with a business that I used to have. Fest Taxi is correct, and it actually, if I'm correct, I'm just trying to quickly look on the old wiki. If I'm correct, it started off as a really small event, and I think it was almost like a beard competition. It was a gathering at a public house near Carsington Water in 2008. But I'm sure it had, it's called Bearded Theory for a reason. But I'm sure it was like a kind of a beard competition. But I think it'd be really cool if we could actually get loads of people from the bearded community, just rock up literally, and just be like, try and see if we can break the record of the biggest group at Bearded Theory of bearded people, and just be that group, like everyone who wants selfies with, because it's Bearded Theory, and we've all got beards, and there's like 150 of us, and I think it'd be amazing. We need to organise that. That is something that needs to happen, whether it's this year or next year. I think we need to try and get big gathering.
On your toes right now, Dan. I can envision, why not we get like 150 t-shirts, BeardMail t-shirts, and just give them to people, and we all go there. A BeardMail visit to Beard Theory Festival. I
think we should try it. I'll try and contact my old contact there. Although I don't know, I haven't spoken to him in a while. He might be like, I spoke to you in a while, Dan. You just want to organise a big bearded group. I think, but I think it'd be good. I think it'd be good for them, good for us. It's a good festival as well. It's quite nice. I think it's about 10 or 12,000 capacity at the last time I saw it. And it's one of those festivals that's on a good sized site, but not too big, not too small, not too many people, not too few, that you can actually walk around without having to like bustle through crowds. I remember watching UB40 and being able to actually swing my arms around quite close at the front of the stage and have the best time.
Let's pop that in the pocket for another day, because I'm thinking maybe have a BeardMail competition at the Beard Theory. I don't know, but we're talking about beard competitions, Dan, not beard festivals. I feel left out. I've never even been to a festival. Never even been to a festival.
Then your first festival needs to be Beard Theory. It's going to have to happen.
It could happen. We're up to 42 minutes, Dan. We've gone over a tiny little bit, but it's been enjoyable. There is so much more we could talk about with regards to
so much more.
But we've mentioned a couple of good ones that are happening this year. So if you are coming along, come and say hello. It's nice to meet people in real life when we only connected on the internet. I'm looking forward to a year of bearding. There's some good comps coming up. Exciting times ahead, Dan. Exciting times ahead.
So my confirmed ones are OP's, Beard On, the British Beard and Moustache Champs, and
don't forget Oxfordshire.
I'm going to try and get on the Oxfordshire one as well. So once we close this off, there's a couple of things that I need to do. I'm going to look at the Oxfordshire one, because when I looked on their Facebook page, I couldn't see a link to tickets. Are tickets now live?
I'm not sure, because they literally only just announced it the other day. So
that's what I mean. Yeah. So if they are live, then obviously get your tickets, because when you say that one is
10th September, did I say?
Yeah, nice.
Nice summer one on the riverbank. Like literally, they've got a bit of a marquee outside of the hotel pub, and it's the like grassy bank and picnic tables and the river, and that'd be beautiful.
Sold it to me. Sold. So that's four beard competitions you'll see, Dan, and 4 that you'll probably likely see Damo for show. You going TBBMC?
Yeah, I've got my ticket for that, mate. I'm also thinking about getting there in some emphatic fashion, which is also top secret. So you know how I like to roll up to a bit.
I'll tell you all about how cool my plans are for TBBMC. I can't say anything on here because it goes live and people can hear it. Don't want to give away the game, but I will tell you and show you exactly what I've got planned. It's going to be freaking awesome.
That is a cliffhanger and a tease if ever I heard one. So thanks everybody for listening and watching. We'll see you all again for another podcast soon. If you've got any ideas of what you want us to chat about, let us know. We've also just actually recorded a podcast with a guest. So if you've got any ideas of guests that you would like to have on the show with me and Dan, double D's, D&D, let us know. But we are all up for ideas as we move into phase 2 of the BeardMail podcast. So thanks for watching. We'll see you all soon. Do you want to say bye, Dan?
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, do your thing, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, guys. Take care.
See you in a bit. That's in a bit. Bye for now.